Hello, everyone, and thank you once again for joining me, Jan Harp, on whichever social media platform you are watching this on. Once again, wanted to come out and just, you know, impart a little bit of motivation this morning. Once again, we are away from home, so this time we are once again going towards north. For some reason we keep going north, so if anyone has any opportunities that's going to take us south towards Miami, please reach out to Holistic Coaching. But this morning, my goal is to motivate you to do hate differently. I know that might sound crazy at first, but I promise you that no matter what it is that you seek to do successfully, you're going to have people who are going to come and they're going to be naysayers. You're going to have people who are going to come and they are just not going to be on board or in line with what you're doing. Or they may be in line or on board with what you're doing, but not in a way that you feel is truly supporting your endeavors or giving you the space to say, hey, I have help with this. You just have someone who's saying, like, like. And sometimes you don't want to like. Sometimes you want some help. So the thing is that you have to learn how to do hate differently. You have to learn how to roll with the punches and stay in the game. So this morning, that's what I want to talk about. So number one, just jumping directly into it, you have to find an example. So I talk a lot about getting started, and my thing is that especially us minorities, we have a hard time finding examples. It's not to say that there aren't any. There are a lot. The thing is for us to find them because they're not always in our immediate circle. For instance, if you're trying to be a lawyer, it would be a little bit helpful to have someone who's a lawyer who you can bounce ideas off of or bounce things off of after class and get some feedback from them. Same thing when it comes to social work. One of the things about me and what I do is that I'm always talking to social workers. I'm always talking to therapists. A phone call with a bunch of social work graduates is the most hilarious thing you will ever come across because we are all diagnosing each other without formally saying that that's what we're here for. We're formally saying that we're here to have a conversation and chit chat with each other and have a good time, but no, a group of social workers, whatever we talk about in 2 seconds is going to turn into a therapy session for each individual in the circle. So the thing is that you have to stick around like-minded folks. You have to stick around people who are going to understand your conversation, understand your heading, where you're going towards, and they can impart information to you about that heading, where you're steering towards. So the thing is to find an example. Some of the people who I truly follow, I look at their journey and I don't envy their journey. I don't want their reward. I want to be encouraged by them and I want to glean from their struggle, what they went through, what they are promoting in order to help me to say, hey, I'm going to stay in the game. So some of the people that I look at are Ebony Cruz. I think if it wasn't for her videos, I don't even think I would have gotten started. It was just the simplicity of what she was doing. It was just the natural flow. You could tell like it was just something that she felt comfortable doing. And so it made me watch. And so from watching Ebony, it went from her, then it went to a guy named Billy Wilson. Billy Wilson, he doesn't have a lot of videos, but he is very, very knowledgeable, and he gets the message across in a way. He is the online do it for dummies. That's him, because that's how I look at how I was when I first got started learning about marketing and listening to him and gleaning from him was that gosh, this is something that I can really understand. Like he's breaking it down for me in a way that I can understand. So, that's what you want to look for. You want to look for those people who are in your lane and you want to use them as examples. You don't want to sit back, which I did in the beginning. Oh, I don't have an example. I don't have anyone who I can call. I don't have. And the thing is that someone told me as long as you have Google and YouTube, you have your best friends. So that's the thing, find an example, find it wherever you can, and then you have to take off like that person is your best friend. Before Ebony Cruz ever even hit the like button on something of mine, which blew my mind, by the way, I was already best friends with her. She was already teaching me. She was already having arguments with me. Like, are you sure? We could do that? You sure I could just sit back with the camera and talk to people and give them information and motivation, and it's gonna help them towards their goals? Really? That's really gonna happen? Like, for anyone who really puts their full effort into it, like, that could happen for them? So the thing is that I looked for those examples, and thank God I found those examples. And so today I encourage you that if you want to get started and if you want to do hate differently, then that's what you'll do first. You'll find an example, a like-minded example, someone who can motivate you and give you those nuggets that'll help you to succeed. And so after you find yourself an example and you say to yourself, you know what, I think I found someone who's really giving me some information that's going to help me to move forward in business. Hopefully I'm part of that list for you. Next thing you want to do is you want to say to yourself, I've been looking at hate, and I've been saying to myself that hate looks like this. And I say that because I used to tell this to my little cousins, people can only give you what they have. So like some people, they might have had parents who might have, had drug addiction. Some people may have had parents who worked so hard that they hardly had time to be home with them. So I mean, your foundation could have come from anywhere. Your foundation, as long as you're still breathing right now in this moment, then you had a good enough foundation for success. So the thing is that you have to even rewire your mind to how you think about hate. Reason being is because if you want to do hate differently, then you have to realize what hate actually is. And a lot of people look at hate as fighting and arguing. That's not hate. That's what do you call that? Is a category of its own. Hate is not arguing and fighting with people and some of the stuff that comes up on like Facebook TV, where you see people in front of the house and they're arguing because that man don't convince that woman and this and that, and that is not hate. Those are two people on the same level doing what people do on that level. It's a category, and I'm not gonna call it, but you know what it is. So the thing is for you to do hate differently. So the thing is that you want to understand that hate, it's not what we have become accustomed to on the levels that we were on. Once you start to say to yourself, I want to be an entrepreneur, or I want to be an actress, or I want to be I want to run a Fortune 500 company, or whatever it is that you say to yourself that that's what I want to do with the rest of my life. I want to be a mover and a shaker. I want to be someone who connects. I want to link people to services, resources. I want to link them to things that are going to cause their goals to come to pass. That's just what makes me happy. So I don't want to deviate from that by getting involved with people who are not like-minded or people who are not on that frame of thought. Any place else for me is me moving into a category that I do not belong in. So I do not want to be in the category that falls into arguing and fighting. That is not hate. So now, if hate is not what we thought it was, then the thing that we ask next then is, what is hate? So now, if the actions that people do are no longer hate once we enter into a level of entrepreneurship or small business ownership, then what is hate? What does that look like? So the thing is to understand that. Let's go into that right now. So hate is a position. How people do their hate, that's a category. So you want to understand your position at all times. If your position is that I don't want to leave this area because I was raised here, my mother was raised here, my great-great-great-grandmother was raised here, and I don't want to change this, then this video is not for you. If you say to yourself, my mother struggled, my grandmother struggled, all so that I could be in a position to do blank, and I can't figure that crap out, this is the video for you. This is to help you stay motivated to understand that even though you may think that you are in the midst of a place where you do not have support and the people who you had hoped would support you are not there, you are in a good place. You are in the right place, because when you learn these things on your own, when you go out there and you make it happen, first of all, that's a feeling no one can take from you. No one can come along and say, I did that for you, or You wouldn't have that if it wasn't for me. That is hate, where someone came along and gave you a pencil back when you got started, and they said, no, you couldn't have even wrote your first report if I wouldn't have gave you that pencil. But there are people out there like that who come along way later, and they'll want to infuse themselves in what you have going on. That's hate. The thing is do not hate humble beginnings. Do not knock the struggle. Do not fall into the trap of worrying about who's hating on you. At the end of the day, if you know how to do hate right, hate actually works in your favor. Never any bad publicity. So the thing is that you have to learn how to do hate differently. Don't fall into hate in a category, and the next thing you know, you're on TMZ looking crazy. No, you want to understand hate, because hate is a position, and you want to make sure that you don't reposition yourself somewhere that you're not supposed to be by engaging in nonsense. No, you take your hate and you keep it rising you up. Let hate push you up. Let that be the thing that propels you forward. It has to motivate you when things come in and they're a struggle. Sometimes things get so hard, I'll be like, I don't have nothing to do but run, but fight, but you're not fight like, no, nothing but fight my way through, like push myself through, motivate myself through, because if I don't, then what does that mean? Did I just give up? I don't give up.